It's comfy. I like it. I'm old. I dig it. All right, good morning, everybody. It's Sean. It is a rainy day here in Charlotte, in the Charlotte area. It's November 6th. It's a Sunday. I am packing up and getting ready to go to the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route with some friends. Going to go do that ride, about 1,000 miles. So I figured it would be a good opportunity to take you inside, get you to take a look at some of the gear that I'm packing with me. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt, but might help somebody who's planning to do a long trip. It's November, North Carolina. We'll be going all the way up to New York, so we're going to see all kinds of different weather, particularly cold weather, which is going to cause me to pack up a little bit more than I normally would carry. So let me show you the bike real quick. So the bike has been serviced. I changed the oil. I had the brake fluid changed. I swapped the windshield, the standard windshield that I used for the Blue Ridge Adventure ride, back to my GV with that little laminar lip there from Puig. So it is ready to go from that perspective. All that's left to do to this bike is really adjust the suspension for the load. So she's ready to go. Got all the gear packed inside. Now I'm going to show you that in just a second when we get done looking at the bike here. I got my Sasquatch sticker, which will be appropriate for being in the woods. And generally just super excited about taking this long trip. It'll be the first super long trip on the KTM. It'll be the longest multi-day camping trip I've ever done. Normally we usually go to one place and run around and go fishing and stuff like that, but this is going to be about a week-long trip. So let's go ahead and get you guys back inside. We'll take a look at the gear and go from there. All right, so we're back in the house. Got all my gear laid out here. I have a Moscow Moto Nomad tank bag, which is the older version. I have the Backcountry Discovery, or Backcountry, got Backcountry Discovery Route on the brain. Backcountry Panniers from Moscow, the 35 liters. I've got a Climb backpack. I've got a Jivvy dry bag for my sleeping stuff, and then I have a tail bag. So let's go ahead and show you what I got and how I'm going to pack it out. So we'll start from the front of the bike, kind of move back. So at the very front, I have my tank bag, obviously. I do have the map pouch. For those of you not familiar with the Mid-Atlantic BDR, it goes all the way from Damascus, Virginia area, all the way up through Maryland, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and up into ends at New York in a place called Lawrenceville. So it's about 1,000 miles from where I am and 1,000 miles back. So we plan to do this over the course of about a week and some change. So we're really looking forward to it. There's about 4 of us going, and this is what I'm bringing. So I got the Nomad tank bag. I got the map pouch on there. Not going to pull all this stuff out, but in here I've got, let's see, Leatherman, some pens, paper, headlamp, phone chargers in there. Let's see what else I got in here. I got neck gaiter. Always need that in the wintertime. I've got a toque or a beanie or a watch cap, whatever you want to call that. Real light, high-tech material one. I love that thing. I got some chain lube. Also, I'm going to keep my first aid kit in here, most likely. And then I've got a bunch of charging stuff. So I'm going to have my GoPro. I'm going to have my extra batteries in there. So I've got like a myriad of wires and things. Can't really see that, but lined up in there, including the headlamp charger. So this is going to be finalized on probably day of. So the last minute items go in there. All right, so tank bag. Let's move on here. Moving back, my backpack will be the next thing. Mainly I use this for water. This is a Climb Backpack, I think it's called. I've got a set of goggles in here. I've got, I'm gonna open this up, gloves, extra gloves. So in the wintertime, I have a hard time keeping my hands warm. I've actually got a pair of old Harley electric gloves that I'm bringing. I'm gonna be bringing an electric jacket as well that I bought as a set years and years and years ago. And then I also have a pair of Climb Gore-Tex gloves that I just recently bought. I'll be bringing those. I'm gonna start off with a regular Revit gloves that I've always been using. They're probably 5 years old. And then as it gets colder, I'll go through this iteration of gloves. I always have a hard time with my hands. And then of course, this thing is great for a water bladder. Been using that for about a year now. Absolutely love this thing. And never thought I'd be a backpack guy on a bike, but I kind of dig it. Okay, let's start on the right side. It's a right-handed world we live in. So we'll start on the right pannier here. There you can see the Big Daddy. The 35 liter Moscow bag. In the very back, I've got my tools in a waterproof bag. That goes there. Let me set this down and I'll pull the stuff out. So what we got here, I've got a packing cube. And the packing cube has all my riding gear. So all the stuff that I'm gonna need for quick changes. So I got my layers in here. I've got a merino wool layer. That's a climb thing. I've got a climb windbreaker layer, real thin stuff. And then I've got a set of long johns in here as well. So when it comes time to, if I'm getting cold, getting too warm, it's right in the top here and I can reach it. All right, moving on. So, also have this is my little lantern. I keep that in my tent, that goes in my tent. Hangs from the, pretty cool thing, I love this thing. Hangs from inside of my tent. You can use it as a lantern, you can use it as a spotlight. It's small battery, but you can even charge it, charge a phone off of it. So it's got a solar power panel on the top, so in the daytime, you can keep it somewhere bright and let it charge up. So that, I've got my Tusk chair, old reliable, had that thing since I started moto camping. First trip I had it on was that hot dog juice incident. I think that was 2018, something like that. So Tusk chair. Moscow dry bag with all my kitchen stuff. So I got my jet boil, I've got all my drink mixes, I got a couple of, they're not mountain houses, but dehydrated meals. Anything that does with kitchen, cleanup kit, all that stuff is in this bag. All right, next, and we're getting to the bottom here. I'm trying to go as light as I possibly can. This is a tarp. This is a Marine Corps tarp. I didn't get it from the Marine Corps. I'm just retired from the Marine Corps October 1st. But I bought this off of eBay just to have one in case it rains. In the summertime, it makes a good shade if you have one, or if you need some. And then I've got a bag of paracord and carabiners in here. And the carabiners I got are pretty cool. They're night eyes. They're little hooks, but they have a little place where you can tie off the paracord, so you don't have to cut as much paracord. You can make little loops and pull things tight that way. And then I just got a little piece of magazine cut in half, all my paracord wrapped around it and taped so it doesn't flop all over the place. And then I got all that in a little ditty bag here. So that's for the tarp. May or may not need that. And then lastly, I got an extra water bladder here. This is a Hydro Pack 2-liter water bladder. I always find that I never have quite enough water when I'm doing these things. So potable water, I always try to fill up and carry as much as I can. Okay, left pannier. Same thing, orange Moscow 35 liter. This one's a little bit more full. I'm kind of saving some room in that one just in case. Always a subject to controversy. I wouldn't say controversy, but discussion. Should I bring a motorcycle cover or not? I find I like to have it. A couple reasons. I'm not too worried about security, but it helps if you can cover it. But mainly when you get these just absolute downpours, it helps keep all the rain out of the electronics. Keeps the seat dry for a little while anyway. I just like to have it. Doesn't take up a ton of space, and it's cheap. My tent poles and tent stakes are all in here. This is the Moscow tent pole bag that came with my Reckless 80 when I had that. And this is a little bit of snivel gear, but I am tired of sleeping poorly in the woods. I had an inflatable pillow for the longest time. couldn't stand the thing. It was a little Sea to Summit inflatable thing. It would squirt out from under my head in the middle of the night and end up somewhere at the bottom of the tent and wake up with a stiff neck. So I went full on and got a Wise Owl camping pillow. This is like a down pillow. I keep it dry. It's comfy. I like it. I'm old. I dig it. All right. Next up, and this is an upgrade from my normal camping setup. Previously, I had a Climate sleeping bag or sleeping pad. It was an R1. We went to the South Carolina Discovery Route last year, and I absolutely froze. I was warm from the top up, but my back was cold because all the heat was getting sucked out of my body from the ground. I upgraded my sleeping pad this year, and I got an X-Bed, excuse me, 5. So this has a R value, I think it's about 4.8. They call it a 5. And I haven't used it yet, so I will let you know. It's going to be cold on this trip, so I'll be able to report back. And then I also bought, the X-Ped comes with one of those little airbags that you can fill up and pump up your sleeping bag. But I bought this little Amazon, off of Amazon. It's a little air pump. So I can get it to come on. I need to charge it. Yeah, there you go. Puts out a lot of air. Idea being for this, not necessarily speed, because I think that airbag blows it up pretty quickly, but it keeps the moisture from your mouth and stuff out of it if airbag breaks and you have to fill it up with your mouth. I like this. We'll try it. Cheap, worth a try. But mainly, this is an insulated sleeping pad. That was key for this trip. Let's see. I keep everything sorted here so I don't end up, when I go to repack this, I can get it all back in the same place. All right. Okay, now we're sorted. Okay, and then lastly, the tent. So let me pull all this out of here. I didn't put it in the right order, but Rainfly. And this, man, I'll put a link. I think they still sell this on Amazon. This is a Featherstone 2-person backpacking tent. And man, I have tortured this thing. I've had it since 2018. I've at least 15, 20 camping trips on it, or camping nights at least, maybe more. I did have to waterproof it once. I took it up to the Blue Ridge Adventure ride in September. It rained all weekend long. I had that thing set up and all my stuff inside was dry. So I mean, it was I think I paid 90 bucks for it back in the day. I think it's 130 now, something like that. I'll put a link, but man, I'll tell you, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like moto camping, so I went and got a less expensive tent, and that thing just won't die. So I'm holding on to it. I gave up a long time ago on trying to put it back in the bags. I just crunch it up and throw it in the bag, bottom of the bag. So this is the main body of the tent, and then the tarp. So when I put this back in, I'm gonna put it back in the opposite order to make sure the tarp is the first thing that I pull out. Just a little tip there. So I pull the tarp out first, the main body of the tent, then the Rainfly in that order. And if the Rainfly is wet, I can just stuff it into the side of the pannier here. I'll have a little axe, little hatchet for wood here. I forgot to show it, but in the other pannier, I have a little handsaw on the outside. So that is that. So moving back now, we got the panniers taken care of. Moving back, I have this GV 30-liter dry bag. I did this last year when we did the South Carolina Adventure Route. Worked out well. There's plenty of room on the 790 on the seat and the tail. So the tail bag's packed light. This weighs practically nothing. It's just a bit bulky, and I'll show you why. So here's my sleeping bag. Pull that out. This is not by any means a fancy sleeping, well, it is a fancy sleeping bag. It's just not fancy by today's standards. So this is the modular sleeping system that the military came up with years ago. Military sleeping system. It's got 3 layers. It's got this outer Gore-Tex layer. It's got this is the winter weight portion of it. And I don't know the specs. It's rated down pretty low. It's a good quality sleeping bag. The third portion is a summer weight bag, so you can kind of mix and match as you need to. I always like to bring the Gore-Tex in case I decide not to set a tent up and just make a lean-to for the night. I like doing that just in case. You can always strip the Gore-Tex off if you don't want it. But again, this is something that I've had for probably 15 years. And it's been all over the world with me. So As a Marine reservist, I've used this on deployments, I've used it in camping, and I'm gonna stick with it for a little while longer. I would like something that packs up a little light, smaller. You'll see when I share the videos from the trip, which hasn't happened yet, but when I show the videos from the trip, you'll see how big this thing packs up. It's not small by any means. So that goes over there. All right, before we move on to the tail bag, I realized I didn't tell you the brand of this. This is a hybrid light. I got this at the PX in Quantico, but you can probably get them anywhere online. But hybrid light, that's the brand. Let's see. I already talked about the X-Ped, and then the pillow was a Wise Owl. And then the military sleeping system, you can get those probably anywhere at a used surplus store. I don't even know if the Army Navy store is still a thing, but that would be the place I would go back in the old days to get that. So let's go ahead, move on to the tail bag. And this is the last piece of kit here. Very back of the bike. It's a Moscow Scout duffel, 30 liter. Usually this is my daily driver on the KTM. It's pretty heavy duty, waterproof, been through a lot of stuff with me, so I love this thing. In this zip up pouch here, in the beaver tail, I have extra straps. So I got some rock straps, about 3 or 4 of them jammed in there just in case. Can never have enough straps. Somebody always breaks one, or you lose something, or you acquire something new on the trip and you need to strap it to something. So always helpful to have extra straps. All right, now, tail bag, tried to pack it light. Wanted to keep all the light stuff on the tail as much as I can. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have to set the suspension on the bike. Me, I'm 6'4", 220, 25, maybe? Yeah, about 225. All my gear, so I try to beef that preload up on the suspension just to take it easy on the bike a little bit. But here's some of my lighter items. Again, I've been using these packing cubes. These are Coughlins, C-O-G-H-L-A-N-S. They sell different sizes, small, medium, large. I love these packing cubes, just help keep everything organized. And in here I just have my normal clothes. So I have a pair of running pants. They're like insulated winter running pants. They're not tights, they're like loose. So I wear those around camp. They're super comfortable, like sweatpants, but they're insulated. I have 2 long sleeve shirts, a short sleeve shirt, some skivvies, and 2 extra pairs of motorcycle socks. So those are gonna be what I'll be wearing on the trip. We're probably gonna do a mix of tent and maybe 1 or 2 nights in a hotel, or 3, depending on if it rains and how cold it is and how achy we get, because we're all, not all of us, but most of us are older gents on this trip, so it's gonna be dependent on weather. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, clothes, another round of clothes. This is the socks and skivvies. I'm not even gonna unfold this because it's such a pain in the butt to put back together, but that's a cheap Old Navy puffy jacket. Again, bought this for like 30 bucks. It's warm. I know Moscow and some of those other places, some of the like Patagonia and stuff like that sell puffy jackets, but for 170 bucks, I don't think so. So, Old Navy puffy jacket. This is my, what brand is this? MABDR Tactical. Came as a kit, but it's a nice little shave kit. So this is all my hygiene stuff. I got a wash rag, toothbrush, towel. Here's a great thing. These are same company. MABDR Tactical makes these microfiber towels. This is a full-size towel that rolls up into this little tube, dries super quick. Great for showering at campsites, or even if you just want to go down to a stream and wash your face, or splash some cold water on your face. I got some shampoo, toothbrush, and of course, like, they're not dude wipes, but they're flushable wipes, just in case. Okay, so that's that. What else we got in here? This is something I bought, or I got for Christmas a few years ago, and I'm telling you, I suck at it. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I probably need to use it more, but this is a DJI Mavic Mini drone. you see my videos. My videos suck. This is supposed to help, but I don't know. We'll see. See if I even use it. Usually I'm too lazy to even pull the thing out. All right, here's my electric jacket from Harley. When I was in my Harley days, I bought this thing because I like to ride year round, which is probably what drove me to adventure bikes anyway. But yes, it says Harley on it, but it's made by Gerby. So let's see. Okay, this is a tire plug repair kit. This is a cheapo. It's made by Vehicle X. Don't know what that is. Amazon. And then I got a cheapo little hyper tough air compressor. Again, cheap. Got that at Walmart. I think it was less than 20 bucks. And then lastly, but most importantly, toilet paper. Gotta bring extra toilet paper. All right, that was fast and furious. I talked fast, I talked a lot, more than I normally do. It's Sunday, I wanna watch some football, but I sure do appreciate you if you watch this video. Like I said, we're gonna be heading out on this trip next week. We're gonna be leaving from our respective homes, meeting at a hotel near the start point, and we're gonna go. There's 4 of us along the way. I'll do some intros for you to those guys, let them tell you a little bit about themselves, and kick this whole thing off. I really don't want it to be a ride report. There's about 75 million videos out there on the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route, and you know, hey, we stopped here and saw this, and that's great, but I just don't want to repeat what everybody else has done. So we'll try just, you know, shoot some video here and there, you know, have a good laugh along the way, have some good camping experiences, and hopefully it gets some nice weather. So if you made it with me this far, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. If you're bored, you don't have anything else to do, hit the little ding bell and the subscribe button if you don't mind. It helps me out. I don't know how it helps me. I don't have to make any money off of this, but I like it. So anyway, just being honest. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you on the Backcountry Discovery Route. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.
That's all I have to say about that.